All right, round two. So we're here at 5 o'clock, and today we have the second thing, which is reading the scriptures. How is it that we continue to build the domestic church? Well, begin to read the scriptures and make that a part of your home life. Yesterday we talked about maybe placing it on a pedestal in many ways, there at the home altar. Put it at a place where it is prominent. Which brings us to number one. Set it out. Find wherever it is. Dust it off a little bit as you come to find it, and then bring it out and use it. Set it somewhere. If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So take it from wherever it is and place it in a prominent place so that you see it, that your spouse sees it, so that your kids see it, and so that when you walk by it, you're like, oh yeah, maybe I should read that sometimes. So setting it out, keeping it out is something that is a smart thing to do. Number two. Read it. Read it. Take time every once in a while. Put the feet up. Sit down. Nowadays, you're going to find time. It's not like there are all kinds of other things you got to do. Pick something out, turn a page, and start reading. That's what it's for. It's God's Word. It's the story. It's the greatest story ever told. It's a love story of how God reaches into history and calls us. The Bible, it's a grouping of books and letters. It's not one book that dropped out of the sky, but you get to read all these different points of view, different genres over time, different ways of seeing how God has reached into our lives. So don't let it sit on the shelf. Now, there are many different ways in which you can do it. You can read it by doing the daily reading. So the church has a lectionary. It has readings that are presented around the world in different languages, but we all read the same Gospels. We all read the same readings, and we walk through the life of Christ. Maybe each day you take the daily readings and you read through them, or at the very least, maybe the Gospel. That's an easy way to do it. Another way might be that you pick one Gospel. Maybe you read to your kids at night. So maybe you pick one Gospel and you begin to work through it. You read a chapter every night. We read all kinds of other books. We read Harry Potter to kids, and we read Lord of the Rings to kids, and we read all kinds of Magic School Bus to the younger kids. I don't know if they still read that. But other things that we read to kids, why not read a gospel passage? Why not pick a gospel? Pick one. You want a short one? Pick Mark. You want a good, meaty one? Pick Matthew. You want a longer one that has a lot of cool information that others don't? For example, the infancy of Jesus? Pick Luke. You want a little deeper? Go to John. But pick one and begin to work through it. Make that your first goal. Now, if you want to go further and you want to go harder, a lot of people say, I'm going to read the Bible all the way through. And they pick it up and they get through maybe the first 3 or 4 books. But when they hit Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and 5, kind of those things, and you get all the 613 laws and blah, 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 people slow down a lot. So maybe you grab this, and my suggestion is read the historical books. Read the historical books, and as you begin to see them now, the historical books a lot of times will start with Joshua. And these are the books that read in narrative form, so you can get the history of the salvation of Israel and get the history of where we come from. Some may start at Genesis and Exodus and then read Numbers and then go to Joshua. But I'll kind of put up a list of these, and you can begin to see how these begin to move through. And I'll post them again at the end so you can read those. But if you Google historical books, Bible, in Catholic, which is important because we have a few books that they don't. So, for example, Tobit Maccabees will appear in ours. In the historical books, it'll get you a lot further and you'll get a lot more out of it. So, whatever you do, pick something small and be faithful to it. Something doable. Build the good habit now while we're at home and with our families. Build some good habit that has to do here with the scriptures. And as you do that, once we come out of all this, then you have a good habit that keeps you going forward as well. All right, have a great night. See you tomorrow.